Welcome to TMZ Live. Bill Gates opened up last night about his association with Jeffrey Epstein and a couple of affairs that he had while he was married to Melinda. And it is pretty stunning. So Bill Gates was addressing his staff. And in the process of addressing them, he apologized for having any association with Jeffrey Epstein. And really kind of said he should have known better. He acknowledged he flew on Jeffrey Epstein's private jet. By the way, we have pictures now of that jet, inside the jet, and there are some just creepy things about it. There's baby lotion that's kind of placed in, next to one of the seats. It's just a weird, weird layout. But Bill Gates says he flew in that jet, and he says that he was essentially blackmailed by Jeffrey Epstein.
Yeah, he's explaining a few things in this town hall. He's obviously apologizing for the association. He says, and he has said this before, that his initial reason was to raise money for his foundation. He wanted wanted to pursue that relationship to raise money. But he says, essentially, that relationship started in 2011, which is 3 years after the 2008 conviction. So he says, as part of this, I was aware there was an 18-month thing, meaning referring to the sentence from that 2008 conviction, but he didn't look into it further. And
but by the way, the conviction was for child prostitution,
and it was high profile.
And it was high profile.
Yes. So you didn't have to do much digging to figure out that had occurred. With respect to the women,
and can I just say before we move on?
Yep.
That this is a social circle where everybody mixes. And let me tell you, I was good friends with Dominic Dunn, who was in the middle of the social circle on the East Coast. And Dominic used to tell me that they are the biggest gossips in the country, more than Hollywood. Yeah. They gossip about each other. And the idea that Jeffrey Epstein is convicted of child prostitution, and he's in the middle of all these rich, famous people, and nobody's gossiping about that and talking about it, is absurd.
It's strange credulity. It just does.
It's absurd.
Yes.
It's absurd.
So he is, and look, he is acknowledging the things that he is willing to acknowledge about his association.
The
affairs, he refers to these two Russian women. One of the Russian women was a bridge player who he met at bridge events, and the other was a Russian nuclear physicist that he met through business activities. The interesting thing about the bridge player is apparently Jeffrey Epstein, according to the Epstein files and things that have come out from there, found out about the association with the bridge player and then used it to potentially extort or sort of strong-arm Bill Gates.
And by the way, in the Epstein files, you see it in one of these emails that he wrote to himself, never sent to Bill Gates, where he talks about Bill Gates getting an STD and asking for antibiotics so that he could basically slip them into Melinda's food or drink or something, which Bill Gates has said is absolutely false.
Right, but the reference in that email that you're talking about is to Russian girls, and so now the pieces are starting to be put together.
Which is why Bill Gates brought this up in the first place.
That's exactly right. He's trying to damage control and contain this to whatever extent he can, but it's a very fine line because he was globetrotting, but he says he was never at the island. He says he had these affairs, but he never did anything illegal or illicit with any of the victims.
He said he never saw anything, he never did anything.
That's right. And so that is the position he is taking. It's very, very embarrassing for him, I'm sure, to have these town halls and make these confessions, though.
Well, he kind of had to.
He had to. Melinda called it out. Remember, after the email came out, Melinda said, those men have to answer for themselves. She was asked about it in an interview, and now this is his version of doing that.
Yeah, and, I just want to get back to this, that everybody is saying, we had no idea. We had no idea. That just can't be.
Right.
I mean, that can't be after the conviction.
Yeah, now Donald Trump has said in 2007 he noticed creepiness before the conviction.
He called the police.
He called the police and said this guy is creepy, so it's strange that he hasn't leaned into that I knew it before even the conviction.
That's Donald Trump's strongest point, that he called the sheriff.
Right, and when he has something that is sort of to his benefit, you would think he would lean on it.
And he didn't use it. The only way we know about that is it came out in the files.
Right.
But the idea that nobody talked about the fact that Jeffrey Epstein, who was in the middle of all these social circles, who is at Bear Stearns, who is his own investment company, basically investing hundreds of millions of dollars of all the people around him, that nobody was gossiping about, hey, by the way, the guy that's taking our money and putting it in Wall Street and whatever, just got convicted of child prostitution.
It's just hard to believe. That's how I feel.
I think it's impossible to believe.
Yeah.
Hi, I'm Jackie from Chicago. I just really think it's interesting that in his apology, he had to emphasize that his affairs were with women and not children. But that distinction wasn't a deal breaker when beginning and continuing a personal and philanthropic relationship with a registered child sex offender like Epstein. Make it make sense.
Well, look. That doesn't, because Epstein was convicted of that, doesn't mean that he did the same thing, right?
Completely agree, but to share relationships and continue those relationships with a convicted sex offender like Epstein, I mean, you have to assume that people will assume that maybe you're keeping that same type of company for a reason.
Well, and the reason may have been he was making a lot of money for a lot of people, and what Bill Gates says is that he was hoping that Epstein would contribute to his foundation. But I think you're right, that it's not just Bill Gates, it's everybody in that circle, that they had to be aware of something after the conviction. And everybody is acting like, we don't gossip. Yes, they do. Really sad news. Mary Cosby's son, she is from Real Housewives of Salt Lake City, has died. Robert Jr., 23 years old?
Yeah, he's only 23. It happened on Monday in Salt Lake City. So what we have right now, it's looking like a possible overdose. Police say they responded to a possible overdose. It immediately became a death investigation. And according to some of the dispatch, I believe Narcan was administered, which is all kind of leading to a possible overdose. But they have not determined.
Yeah, well, I mean, Narcan is the sign.
Right.
So his life was chronicled on Real Housewives, and there was an interaction that people saw between Mary and Robert on the show. This is before he went to prison on drug-related charges. This is the way it went down.
You're blessed. You wake up every morning, every day is a new day, a blessed day. To waste to get high? When God wakes you up every single day. You know how many people didn't wake up today? You died.
I wanted to die at the time.
Do you know how that would kill me?
I just felt like a stain. I felt like a stain. I just felt like this world wasn't for me.
If something ever happened to you, do you understand? Do you understand what happened to me? Like, I don't think I'll be like.
You're the only reason I didn't kill myself.
Honestly, this scene was so hard to watch. He really broke down how he got into drugs. He basically told Mary when he was 16, he started with weed, just very natural stuff. And then he said he went to a party and someone gave him a Xanax and he fell in love, and that's what really set him off. He said he started mixing Xanax with Molly, cocaine, fentanyl. He just said that there was a point in time where he was taking up to 10 oxys a day and wasn't feeling a thing. All of this being said to his mom, and he really said that I wanted to commit suicide.
Oh my God.
He
You were the reason I didn't.
Was like a pretty troubled guy, and it's kind of crazy because he had just got out of jail in early February because he had violated some probation with his ex-wife. He had been arrested a bunch of times, so he had just gotten home.
And on top, while he was in rehab, his wife actually filed for divorce and left him. So when he got out of rehab, he came home, he did the 30-day stint. Wife is gone, obviously still struggling with substance abuse, and now, as someone who's watched the show and has watched his journey, when I saw this headline, I truly was sad, but was not surprised because he has really,
I mean, you hear it,
struggled.
but I'm just thinking of Mary just saying, I would die if you did that. She was on with Andy Cohen on the reunion, and it got really emotional over this.
That made me cry, sorry.
What got you?
Just my son.
He's incarcerated currently.
Yes, I'm happy. I'm in a good place. I'm not worried about him. I know he's somewhere where he's not using. At some point, I have to step back so that he can learn and he can make his own decision. And unfortunately, he's learning the hard way. But I'm okay with it. It's just, you know, you don't want to see your kid suffer, but I know it's good. And I'd rather him be there than dead.
It is just, you ache for her. You ache for her that you know what she's going through with this, because at a point, you know, how many parents does everybody know who have been through something like this where there's nothing you can do to make it right? And she must be going through hell right now.
Hey, I'm Nemo from New England. This is a really sad and complicated situation. No one really wins in a story like this. We have a young life lost and a family in grief with a reality TV backdrop that only complicates the public perception of this. And I think there should be a moment where we talk about support, addiction, and real consequences beyond the celebrity headlines.
Yeah, and you know, we're about to talk about that with another case where somebody died with mental struggles. And you know, there is so much you can do, but you cannot save people all the time, and that's just the reality. It does not make it easier.
Coming up.
So Hilary Duff has beef that she wanted to air out on the Call Her Daddy podcast with Alex Cooper.
It sucks to read something that's like not true, and it sucks on behalf of like 6 women in all of their lives.
Be right back.
So Hilary Duff has beef that she wanted to air out on the Call Her Daddy podcast with Alex Cooper. And she went into her rivalry with Lindsay Lohan, and more recently, and this is really weird to me, her anger and frustration over how she was characterized in this whole beef involving this mom group she was in with Ashley Tisdale. So here's what she said on the podcast, and then let's talk specifically about this Ashley Tisdale beef, which makes no sense.
Were you surprised when Lindsay Lohan showed up to the Cheaper by the Dozen premiere?
No. I mean, that was like my childhood feud, like nemesis. Lindsay came up to me at a club once and was like, "Are we good?" And I was like, "We're good." She was like, "Let's take a shot." I was like, "Okay."
How did you feel when it came out and when you read it?
I felt really sad. I honestly felt really sad. I was like pretty taken aback. It sucks to read something that's like not true. And it sucks on behalf of like 6 women in all of their lives. I think it came at like the craziest time where I was like, the timing felt not great. And I felt used.
I'm finding this so weird because not only did other people say that there was this feud with Ashley Tisdale where Hilary, along with Meghan Trainor and Mandy Moore, that they basically said, you know, enough of you, that you're self-centered and all. So she's saying she was mischaracterized. The reason this makes no sense to me, and she said her husband was also mischaracterized, he put this up on his own Instagram page. Look at this. He said, "A mom group tell-all through a father's eyes. When you're the most self-obsessed, tone-deaf person on earth, other moms tend to shift focus to their actual toddlers."
Oof.
How is that mischaracterizing this dispute?
Well, she was even asked, like, how did you feel when your husband posted about this? Because he basically was confirming that this had to do with their group.
Right.
And Hilary just kind of says, like, I love him for that. Like, she signed off
but not
on like
on
what
Alex
he
Cooper.
posted.
She's making it sound like
well, because she's upset that that this all happened when Hillary's making a massive comeback. That's why she said, like, the timing, I felt used. She feels used because she feels like Ashley's trying to insert herself in all the publicity Hillary's getting right now.
Okay, so wait a minute. So Hillary's husband is saying that Ashley Tisdale is self-obsessed as his wife goes on a podcast and says, I feel used. It's all about me because this was timed poorly because of my comeback.
Harvey,
That's
she didn't bring
self-obsessed.
up the toxic stuff. Ashley did. Ashley brought this up. Nobody was talking about this. And Ashley tried to, quote, play coy, but it doesn't take too many dots to connect it.
But Hillary won this. Hillary won this.
Hillary won for sure.
So why
Everyone
is she
loves Hillary
complaining?
Duff.
Why is she complaining? She won this. Ashley Tisdale looks self-obsessed because you've got all these other women saying enough of her, and then Hillary's husband comes out and totally co-signs on it. So,
well, but even worse though, Hillary's sister Haley went on a little kid date with Ashley Tisdale, which obviously Hillary has a beef with.
And the sisters don't get along.
No,
so
correct.
How is this being used, and how is this inaccurate?
Harvey, this is Hillary's big moment. She hasn't had an album in so long. And all of a sudden, Ashley does an interview in a magazine and had to bring this up. Come on.
Ashley brought it up, and Ashley looks bad. Hillary doesn't look bad. This is ridiculous.
So hi, my name is Smith Bay, and I'm from Toronto, Ontario, Canada. I honestly think I stand by Hillary 110%. If anyone has beef with her, basically, it's I would blame the other party, because if hubby is making a comment about it and saying, hey, like, she's very like, if hubby is basically making a comment on it, I believe that Ashley is the problem, because usually a lot of the times that are like husbands, they don't really say anything.
Yeah, I mean, I listen, everything you're saying, I buy. How is she saying she was mischaracterized? Her husband's saying this is true. Like you just said, her husband's saying it's true. So how is she mischaracterized?
Well, I don't feel like she's being like mischaracterized at all, because I know like she's saying that she was being mischaracterized.
Let's end this not mischaracterized at all. I buy that. So I couldn't last through the whole State of the Union last night, but I watched enough to see the hockey team, which is what I wanted to see, the U.S. men's hockey team for the Olympics. They won gold. They did something that I found so comforting, that I remember so many of these State of the Unions where Democrats and Republicans could come together and applaud the same point. It never happens, but it happened once last night when the hockey team came out. Everybody stood, everybody applauded. They applauded for 5 minutes. It was great. And it was just a moment where you saw unity, which is just, it really struck me. We called these the United States of America, but there's nothing united about our country anymore. But here, they were united just for a few minutes, but they were united. And I thought it was just such a cool thing to watch. And then the president said that he was giving the Medal of Freedom, which is the highest honor for a civilian, to Connor Hellebuck, the goalie, who was absolutely incredible during that final game against Canada. Stopping a shot backwards, which was just unbelievable. So he's giving him the Congressional Medal of Freedom. And of course, everything is challenged, and now people are saying, how dare he? This is performative. He doesn't deserve it. All the other athletes who got a Congressional Medal of Freedom got it for a body of work and not for a game. That's true, but then the question is, why are people getting so upset about this? Right. I mean, it's like,
this is always something.
There are a lot of things to get upset about.
Right, and this ain't one of them. I mean, this guy was at the center of a moment of pride for the country, not won a gold medal in 46 years. It makes a ton of sense. You know who also got this award? Simone Biles got this award. Joe Biden gave it to her a couple years ago. But Tiger, I mean, you can name.
But Simone Biles didn't get it for one game. She got it for a body of work.
But what is it?
I
know you're not against this.
No, I'm not against this at all. I'm for it, actually. But I guess my point is this. You know the song "The Gambler" by Kenny Rogers, and you know the big, you know the great line in it, right?
What's that?
know when to hold
Yeah,
them, know when to fold them.
Right, fold them here.
Just hold them here. Yeah.
Right.
Just,
yeah.
It's like.
This is not it.
It's just sort of, it's sort of like when you argue about everything, then when it really matters, it becomes white noise.
Right.
If you just argue everything.
Right.
There
are things that you could pick from the speech last night even that you could say, hey, I don't like that, or this wasn't true, or it's a half truth. That's not the moment to have a beef with. I don't get it, Harvey. I do not get it. Because here's the truth. Because these guys have seemingly cozied up to Trump. Now there's a lot of people who just don't like them because of it. And that's the fact.
I don't even know they cozied up to Trump.
Right.
I mean,
their perception is that they have.
And look, I mean, not to go too off the rails here, but, we should have a talk about immigration because there are some huge problems with immigration in terms of the Constitution, that it's getting violated. Multiple amendments are getting violated, and that's something we should talk about.
I'll tell you what.
But my point is, if you want to argue about that and then say, and he shouldn't have gotten the Medal of Freedom, on the stuff that matters, you're not going to be heard.
Next in New York City, I completely agree with you. I think this is of all the things that were brought up during the speech, of all the things that were happening in the last month and a half, I think this is the lowest on the totem pole. He already said he was going to fly them out there. I think the biggest slight is against the U.S. women's team because they also got a gold medal. But ultimately,
but they didn't want to. They didn't want to come.
They didn't want. Well, then there you go. I think of all the things, this is the smallest potatoes. I don't understand why people are getting so upset about this particular thing when there are other bigger fish to fry.
Yeah.
Coming up.
We are learning more about Martin Short's daughter, Catherine, who took her own life Monday. Police came to her home in the Hollywood Hills. They found that she had died of a self-inflicted gunshot wound. It is obviously devastating to the Short family. And we spoke with a very close friend of hers who talked to us a little bit about Catherine.
Be right back.
TMZ's got every freaking thing. Big celebs, big stories, big events.
BB Rexa was looking hot on vacation.
Look at the water, too. Did you just say, look at the water?
I mean, I'll be honest, that is what I was looking at.
We are learning more about Martin Short's daughter, Catherine, who took her own life Monday. As we reported, we broke this story. Police came to her home in the Hollywood Hills. After getting a call, they found that she had died of a self-inflicted gunshot wound. It is obviously devastating to the Short family. She was having mental struggles for a long time, apparently. And we spoke with a very close friend of hers just a few minutes ago, actually, who talked to us a little bit about Catherine. She was a licensed social worker who did volunteer work for a mental health foundation. And this was really important to her, and she was open to an extent that she went through mental struggles herself. But what this person said to us, I think, is really interesting. He said that Catherine, as he put it, took on the baggage of the world. And we asked him, what that meant. And, you hear this from other therapists as well, that sometimes, a therapist who sits there and listens to really sad stories, tortured stories, of people who are struggling, and you hear it all day long, day in, day out, it takes a toll. Even if you're not struggling yourself, it takes a toll to hear these unresolved problems that people have all day long where you feel the responsibility to help them. And she did. This person called her an incredibly empathetic soul and somebody who tried her best to help everybody around her. And it weighed her down. And again, it doesn't just necessarily weigh somebody down who has mental issues or mental health issues. It can weigh anybody down when you hear this day after day after day. It's depressing. So she went through these struggles. They were up and down for years. And this person was telling me she had an emotional support dog. But this person was telling us about a dog that she had before this one. His name was Charlie. It was a rescue. And he was saying how important this dog was to her, that this dog was loving, comforting, and made her feel safe. So this was something that was really, really meaningful to her. And, you know, we asked, does that mean she was kind of a solitary person, you know, because she had this dog that she relied on so much? And he said no, that she had friends, she had a social circle, but she was going through her own mental struggles. She didn't open up with him, and he was close to her, about what they were specifically, other than to say that she would just take on all the baggage of everybody else. So it is just a really sad, sad story that, in her early 40s, that she just couldn't cope anymore. Just one other thing that I found interesting, that this person said when he met her, she didn't go by Catherine Short, she went by Catherine Hartley, which was her middle name. So she wasn't kind of bandying this around town that she was the daughter of a famous celebrity. She was living on her own and did the best she could, as he put it, to help others.
Yeah, I'm Jada from Brooklyn, and I just think it's unfortunately really heartbreaking when a mental health professional succumbs to their own mental health issues while trying to help other people. I also think that it's unfortunate given that she probably had an awareness of a world that most of us have nothing, we don't know about that world, the celebrity world, that behind the scenes, and that might have even contributed to her desire to help others, but ultimately it might have been too much for her to deal with. And, condolences to her family. I think that's just the most unfortunate thing when people who are really trying to help people succumb to their own issues.
I think you put that really well, especially the idea that somebody succumbed who was, living to help other people. It's really sad.
Coming up.
We found out something happened during the rehearsal week when Cardi B was the musical guest on Saturday Night Live.
She overheard them basically just going over the sketch and doing it, lost it.
Be right back.
Welcome back to TMZ Live. We found out something happened during the rehearsal week when Cardi B was the musical guest on Saturday Night Live, went off without a hitch. But behind the scenes, during that week of rehearsal, Cardi B got furious, went off the rails when she heard that there was going to be a Nicki Minaj joke. You know that Cardi and Nicki are mortal enemies. And when Cardi heard the rehearsal, this was for Weekend Update. So it wasn't even something where Cardi was going to appear. This was separate, where they were going to do a bit on Nicki Minaj joining MAGA.
Which makes sense because obviously it was a huge, talking point at the time.
Huge.
And it was the biggest thing in the news.
Thing in politics.
So it makes sense that SNL would be covering it. So what we're told from multiple sources is she overheard them basically just going over the sketch and doing it, lost it, got super upset, went back, smashed one of the monitors backstage with her phone. Apparently she threw her phone at it and then went into a producer's office, threw this whole fit essentially saying if they ran this joke, she was out as the musical guest. So obviously she ended up doing the bit, or her musical spot. So clearly they cut the joke and everyone kind of just went on. But she just hates any time she is in any way tied to Nicki Minaj.
See,
that's the problem.
The weird thing about that to me is that this is SNL making fun of Nicki Minaj.
Right.
And making fun of her, for what she's done in MAGA. I don't see how that inherently upsets Cardi, unless it's just, if I'm even on this show and you're doing Nicki.
Well, we're told that one of the things she was getting upset about was that Nicki will attack her kids on social media. So I think she looks at this as like, I'm the musical guest, I'm tied to this SNL thing, people will clip it together and then she's just gonna be coming after me again. I mean, I guess I could see that. Because she is a part of the cast that they're doing the joke on, even if she's not like on the skit, you know what I mean?
I get the point, but it is separate. And
for sure.
And she was the musical guest. I could almost see it with a host because the host is all over the show.
Right.
The musical guest is kind of compartmentalized, although that's how deep this war between Cardi B and Nicki Minaj
It also
goes.
shows you how powerful Cardi is, because they didn't run the joke.
They didn't run the joke.
So.
And that was a huge part of that week.
Right.
Yeah.
Tisha in Texas. And you know what? Cardi doesn't dodge any smoke. She didn't care about Nicki Minaj being mad. She just didn't want it to appear that they were using her to get at Nicki Minaj. If y'all want to do it on your own time. This is Cardi. It's about me. I don't even want to talk about Nicki. I'm about to go on this tour. Am I the drama? Yes, you are the drama, but she picks and chooses the drama sometimes. And this time she did it, and they allowed her to do that.
Yeah, I mean, you're right. She won this. She won it because they cut the joke. So Ghislaine Maxwell has lots of problems, not the least of which is she is incarcerated right now and will be for a long, long time, unless Donald Trump pardons her, which is a possibility. So this will not be high on her list of things to worry about. But there is somebody who was locked up with her, not in the current facility, but in the prior one, who said she smells like crap.
Yeah, I disagree with you, Harvey. I think this is an immediate problem for her. I think that personal hygiene in prison is a thing. It's a very dangerous place, and I think she's got to comport herself. I think this is not a good thing for her. That's my take on this.
Okay, well, let's get into specifics.
Yeah.
So this former inmate says she had horrible personal hygiene, showered once or twice a week, despite the fact that she had access to the shower every day.
Yeah.
And that she worked out all the time, and it exacerbated the problem. And they did not have good things to say about her generally.
Yeah, I'm not sure where to go. So one thing that I would think about is Donald Trump, right, is somebody who could potentially pardon her. That's something she's been angling for. She wants a lot in exchange for it, right? She's talked about that. But does this impact that at all? Like, he's a man with certain, standards that he holds up.
This has absolutely no impact on that. Zero impact on that. I think the big question is, look, I was thinking about this, and these files are getting bigger, not smaller right now. People are talking about these files, and they're having consequences that nobody really thought they would have.
Yeah.
Everybody thought because of the redactions that there would be no accountability.
Right.
And you are seeing it internationally now. There are 2 people in England now that have faced arrest because of this. And there are lots of people in the ropes in the United States. So what would the ultimate distraction be to take the spotlight away from some of these people? I think it would be to pardon Ghislaine Maxwell. I mean,
boy.
I'm not saying it's the right thing to do at all. I'm just saying, think about the explosion of anger.
Yes.
And then all of a sudden, people are looking at her and not others.
Well, I think people are looking at Donald Trump hard, and I don't think he wants that kind of spotlight. It came out today that they still have not produced the documents in which there's allegations against Trump specifically. They held those back from the giant production, which is a really tough thing for him to take on. If he were to pardon Ghislaine Maxwell, I think that's political suicide. I really do.
Or he waits until those documents. See, we don't know if those documents are going to come out. The weird thing is they said, okay, everything's out now. 3 million documents, everything's gone. Everything's out. And now
they held one back, which
and the thing they held back is the Trump thing.
That's right.
And that's why it's not over for Donald Trump. And that doesn't mean Donald Trump did anything. We don't know what Donald Trump did. There's no evidence so far he did anything wrong. And in fact, he called the sheriff in South Florida early on.
He did.
And said, you got to look out, you got to watch it.
And then he did dismiss him or got him kicked out of Mar-a-Lago later on. Epstein said that it wasn't actually a member of Mar-a-Lago, but Trump definitely took adverse action against Epstein later on. That may have been political expedience, but nevertheless he did it.
So why did the Justice Department hold back specifically documents relating to Donald Trump? That's the question.
Hey, this is Dab the Ink. I'm chilling in Atlanta, Georgia right now.
How you doing?
I'm wonderful. I want to talk about Ghislaine. I don't know how to pronounce that lady's name. I call her Ghislaine, but clearly it's not Ghislaine because she don't want them women touching her in that jailhouse. I feel like, Harvey, everybody knows You don't wash that thing when you go to jail if you don't want nobody touching you. And she ain't washing that thing on purpose.
Yeah, appreciate your contribution there. That's not exactly what we were saying, but get your point.
Coming up.
I gotta say that in our morning meeting, Eric pitched the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame nominees. And the fact that some of them hadn't been nominated until now, I literally almost fell to the ground.
Be right back.
So, this is Eric. He is a music savant and also an editor here at TMZ. And I gotta say that in our morning meeting, Eric pitched the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame nominees. And the fact that some of them hadn't been nominated until now, I literally almost fell to the ground.
Yeah, it's surprising. So the thing is, when you get in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, it has to be 25 years after your first release, which now means anybody who debuted in 2001 is eligible. And already the shocking thing, some artists who debuted in 2001 who are not getting nominated at all this year. Alicia Keys,
which is crazy.
John Mayer.
Alicia, that's nuts.
I assumed Alicia Keys would be a first-year nominee, first-year induction. She was going to skate in. And John Mayer.
And John Mayer. And John Mayer.
Both of them snubbed. So 17 artists are nominated. About 7 will probably get in, roughly. 10 of them are getting their first nomination ever, including Luther Vandross. Like, how has Luther never been nominated?
I mean, Cher would be upset about that.
That's right. Luther Vandross, our good friend.
Right.
Phil Collins. Phil Collins has never been nominated.
I assumed Phil Collins was long in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame.
He is as a member of Genesis.
Right, but not individually.
But as a solo artist, he has never been nominated.
And then so Pink just got nominated.
Pink just got nominated. She's the first artist to debut in the 2000s.
And then Mariah Carey has never been nominated?
No, she has. This is her 3rd nomination. They just won't put her in.
How can that be?
And the crazy thing is, Mariah made a joke about it last time. She has a lawyer who got in as like a business person because they have a separate category for that. Mariah said, my lawyer got in before I did.
That's just, and the thing about Mariah is, she wrote her songs.
Yeah, she writes all of her hits.
And so she's not just a performer. She wrote these incredible songs.
Yeah.
And she got rejected?
Eventually, maybe she'll get in this year. Maybe the 3rd time's the charm for her.
So this is my overriding point, that awards are BS. That it's like, you can't make any sense of what he just said. You cannot make sense of this. And honestly, you know, I know that people are into the Oscars and everything else, but it's the same thing. I mean, it's like there are certain people that are favored because people like them.
Right.
And that doesn't mean they're bad actors. It just means that when you're liked, your work, look, you can have 2 people and who are roughly equivalent, and one person is not liked and the other is. The person who's liked is always going to get the nod.
Yeah.
And that's a popularity contest.
And there are a lot of people who are disliked who certainly deserve to be in, but they don't get in because they don't like them.
My name is Torshia from South Florida, and when you look at all of the artists nominated, you really can't help but feel a wave of emotions. These artists have meant so many people, they've been so much to so many people for so long, whether it be through their style, their pen, their voices. So although competition is stiff, congratulations are definitely in order. So congrats to all the nominees.
Who do you want most?
It is an absolute shame that Mariah Carey has not been inducted as of yet, because she fits every single category. Every year she's still on the chart. She's done it big for so many years. That's who I want the most.
Coming up.
For all of you who have foot fetishes, we have a treat for you. Meet Benny Blanco's feet. They are dirty as hell. He had to know that people were going to look at this.
Be right back.
Okay, for all of you who have foot fetishes, we have a treat for you. Meet Benny Blanco's feet. They are dirty as hell. Look at that. He is on the Friends Keep Secrets podcast, and he is putting those dirty dogs on the sofa, and he had to know that people were going to look at this. There's no way.
I mean, maybe he got comfortable and didn't intentionally have his feet in the frame, but I mean, it is hard not to look at.
Look at this. Oh, by the way, he was farting there.
Oh God.
So,
yeah.
Anyway, there is a foot fetish website called WikiFeet, and they score people's feet.
Yes.
Go back to his feet. He scored a 3 out of 5.
Which honestly, not that bad. I feel like, usually a lot of people in the office around here have like a 4.6, 4.7, but a 3, that's either people are into the dirt or they are absolutely
That's what I'm
despise
thinking. Did he get a bigger score because of the dirt? So there's somebody in our office who you've seen on our television shows who apparently has nice enough feet that people have clipped images of her and put them on these websites, and she has like a 4.8.
Pretty good.
And she evaluated Benny's feet, and she said that, dirt aside, that they're actually good feet.
The feet themselves, I mean, he has a good toe arch, there's not like one that's wonky or anything, but I mean, apparently Selena loves it because she posted.
I fall more and more in love with you every day, my love, after seeing the picture.
So she's standing by it. I mean, she's sticking by his feet.
To each his own.
For sure.
Hi, I'm AK from Columbus, Ohio. They're in their honeymoon phase, right? Everything is adorable. She has those googly hard eyes for him. And it doesn't matter if he's got dirty feet or if he's going around blasting his rogue trumpet, right? Everything is game. Nothing is growth. When you are that in love,
Yeah, but guess what? 5 years from now, let's talk to Selena about putting those feet on her sofa. What else you guys want to talk about?
Hi, this is Kate from Arizona. So I want to talk about Bill Gates. He's finally admitting that he did have affairs. He did not say he had any affairs with anybody that was underage. He just said with women. And I think that's what we got to pay attention to.
Well, he said he did nothing wrong, and that would have been wrong if they were underage. So I think by definition, he said that. One more.
Minneapolis, and I just want to chime in on the Cardi B situation. I just think Cardi B's whole reaction likely stems from the long-standing tension between her and Nicki Minaj, making the joke more sensitive for her.
Yeah, I'm a little surprised that, especially the week she was on when Nicki Minaj came out the way she did and rolled out the MAGA carpet, that she didn't kind of foresee this was going to happen.
Coming up.
Spotify is extending its reach to dead people. You could put music in an urn and it would entertain the remains forever.
Be right back.
Spotify is extending its reach to dead people. So Spotify had this idea. You could put music in an urn and it would entertain the remains forever.
Introducing the Eternal Playlist Urn from Liquid Death and Spotify. The first ever urn with a built-in wireless speaker. What's the worst part about being dead? You can't listen to music. Now you can enjoy all your favorite jams for eternity. Research shows that if you keep the dead happy, they're less likely to haunt you.
Okay, so here's my idea. Don't just do it with urns, do it with caskets. And what you could do is, if there's a husband and wife burial site where the two of them are side by side, you put one person's music in one, and then you put another person's music in the other. And then when people come to visit the grave, it's like a versus where you can then judge which music is better. It would be like a symphony if this caught on there. So I'm just going to give you that idea, mortuaries, for free. We'll see you tomorrow.